As head of performance and medical, my primary responsibility is to reduce injury risk while supporting long-term player availability and performance. Football is a high-intensity, multi-directional sport categorized by repeated sprinting, rapid change of direction, decelerations, cutting, landing, and kicking actions. These demands place significant stress on the lower limbs and trunk. The majority of time loss injuries in footballs are non-contact in nature, particularly affecting the hamstring, groin, knee, and the ankle. These injuries are often associated with poor movement strategies and neuromuscular control deficits and bad proprioception and accumulated load rather than single traumatic events. This screening day is designed to shift the club from a reactive injury model to a proactive prevention focused approach. The club has experienced 5 consecutive seasons of high injury rates, which suggests that underlying risk factors are either not being identified or not being acted upon effectively. The purpose of this screening day is not to predict injuries, but to identify modifiable risk factors that contribute to non-contact injury mechanisms. As we all know, that screening day and having tests linked does not give a sure shot for injury prevention. So the purpose of this screening day is not to just predict injuries. The screening focuses on posture, movement quality, mobility, and neuromuscular control rather than performance testing. This allows us to understand how athletes move, not just what they can produce. The ultimate goal is to use screening data to inform training decisions, medical follow-ups, and ongoing load management throughout the seasons, and plan rescreening tests. The screening day is designed to be completed within one working day, lasting approximately 6 to 8 hours. 30 athletes are screened with 3 practitioners in total, myself and 2 assistants. Athletes rotate through 3 screening stations to ensure efficiency and minimal fatigue. All athletes complete a physical activity readiness questionnaire and detailed injury history prior to physical testing, allowing the screening process to be both safe and time efficient. The structure ensures that screening does not interfere with training availability of increased injury risk during the assessment itself. The screening battery is organized into 3 stations. Station 1 focuses on global movement quality using established movement screens to assess coordination, trunk control, and symmetry. Station 2 assesses joint specific mobility and passive range of motion, targeting known risk factors at the ankle, hip, and hamstring complex. Station 3 evaluates neuromuscular control and landing mechanics, which are strongly linked to lower limb injury risk in football. Each test was selected based on its relevance to football injury mechanisms, along with evidence supporting its validity and reliability. Screening results are not interpreted in isolation. No single test determines injury risk. Instead, results are interpreted by considering movement quality, asymmetries, compensations, pain response, and task strategy across the entire screening battery. This approach allows us to align with a system-based understanding of injury risk, recognizing that injuries emerge from the interaction of multiple factors rather than one isolated deficit. To support clarity and decision making, athletes are classified under a simple traffic light system, as you can see below. Effective screening only works if the information is clearly communicated across the multidisciplinary team. Results are shared with medical staff, strength and conditioning coaches, sports scientists, and technical coaches using consistent language. Rather than overwhelming the staff with raw data, communication focuses on key movement risks, classification status, and clear action points. This ensures that screening results translate into practical challenges in training, rehabilitation, and load management. Screening is not a one-off event. It forms the foundations for ongoing monitoring throughout the season. Athletes who present with movement deficits or asymmetries receive targeted interventions rather than being excluded from training to help them psychologically as well. Follow up screening intervals are planned based on the severity of findings, ensuring that change in movement quality or risk status are monitored over time. This approach supports continuous decision making rather than reactive injury management. Athletes are classified using three-tier traffic light system to guide action and follow-ups, as I mentioned before, but a little more in detail now. Green athletes demonstrate acceptable movement quality, no pain, and no clinically relevant asymmetries. These athletes continue full training and are monitored throughout routine performance and load data with no immediate rescreening required. Amber athletes present with mild movement deficits or asymmetries without pain. These athletes remain in full training but receive targeted corrective work and minor training modifications. Amber athletes are rescreened after 4 to 6 weeks with monthly MDT reviews. Red athletes, on the other hand, present with pain, significant asymmetry, or poor movement control that may increase injury risk. These athletes are referred immediately to the MDT team and training is modified as required. Red athletes are rescreened within 1 to 2 weeks with either sometimes even daily depending on the condition. This is so basically this system allows for structured decision making while avoiding unnecessary removal from training, which will also affect psychologically into an athlete's life. The screening process supports long-term athlete availability by identifying risk early and guiding targeted intervention. Screening data informs gym programming, field-based loading strategies, and medical monitoring across the season. By addressing movement quality and control deficits proactively, the club can reduce the likelihood of non-contact injuries while maintaining training intensity and performance output. Injury prevention in football is a shared responsibility across the multidisciplinary team. This screening model provides a structured, evidence based framework that aligns medical performances and coaching staff. By integrating screening into daily practice, the club moves towards a proactive approach that supports player health, training consistency, and long term performance.